Good afternoon, Bryan College Station. Welcome to the Beliucci Hour lunch. Live on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone, 102.7 FM. We are here at the Tap on Harvey Road. I'm your host, Ryan Broninger.
You can hear A&M football from the first game to the bowl game. On Sports Radio 1150 and The Zone 102.7 FM.
Floating on the southbound breeze, somewhere between heaven and the tall pine trees. Hard land, I'm missing you. Guitar playing through the night, it felt pretty good, and I'm feeling alright. Good as warm for the price of two. It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told.
Good afternoon, Bryan College Station. Welcome to the Beliucci Hour lunch, live on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone, 102.7 FM. Ryan Broninger sitting in today with Mr. Olin Buchanan.
Pinch talking.
Bench talking?
Pinch talking for Billy.
Luch has started his weekend a little bit early. Can we get somebody to turn down this the bumper music? Pull that down over at the station, please. There we go. That's getting a little better.
That's like a Ryan Broninger theme song.
It is one of my favorite songs. We've changed the intro music. We've changed the bumpers. We've got new streams available now. If you want to check us out, Zone 1150 Facebook page, Zone 1150 YouTube page as well. Again, I'm Ryan Broninger sitting in with Olin Buchanan today, who's filling in for Billy Lucci. As always, we are at the Tap on Harvey Road, eating the Tap's great lunch specials. Always good, always tasty. I think Olin has already polished off his black and chicken sandwich.
I highly recommend the black and chicken sandwich.
Black and chicken here, whatever you get it in, is really good. They could probably put it between two pieces of concrete. It'd probably, if you get through that concrete, it'd be good because the chicken's so good.
Well, you typically order the black and chicken between two pieces of black and chicken,
right? Yeah. High protein. High in beta-alanine as well. But $8.49 black and chicken sandwich today. As always, the $8.49 burger basket. Karaoke on Mondays. Turn Up Tuesdays is Nathan, I forgot to pull that stupid thing up. But you did send me the drink specials. They got great drink specials in here and no cover on Tuesday nights. Wednesdays, piano bar. And now we are 2 weeks away from kickoff. And we will have that Beliucci Hour show on that Thursday. I've been handing some information for that. What we know about that Thursday game day schedule in terms of what's going to go on campus is that parking will still not be open until like 2:30. I think 3. But I think the latest I heard was that they're bumping it now to 2:30. Still, you're going to need a place to come before you go to campus. We will have a Beliucci Hour show that day here at the Tap. And then John has given me some details on that. It's going to be an indoor tailgate party, a barbecue plate, drink specials, much more. We'll have information on that next week. We hope to see all of you out there, whether you're sitting in here with us at the Tap, whether you've got us tuned in on the radio or on the live streams. Come visit with us on game day ahead of the Aggie 6:30 kick against the Northwestern State Demons to open the 2018 campaign. We've had kind of a lot to talk about. We went through a little phase, OB, where it was a lot of regurgitated info because we kept seeing the same thing as members of the media. You know, you see your first 15, 20 minutes of practice every day, and then, you know, there really wasn't much to talk about. And then you had Texas Radio, you had Louie, you had Chip Show. Everybody was breaking it down. You had this show. Everybody's breaking it down 20 minutes what they saw. Last Sunday, we get to see a whole lot more. And I think and then they've got the scrimmage on Monday. Mm-hmm. Want to get your just overarching thoughts of what you've seen and what you've been encouraged by so far with this A&M team, and then maybe the biggest questions you have, because we hear about from Lucci every week. What are some of the things that you've seen every day that you like, and then where do you think there's still question marks?
Well, I think, first of all, and I'm sure this has been discussed over and over, is, guys should be big and look good, or they wouldn't be at Texas A&M on a scholarship anyway. But they seem to have gone to a different level. I mean, they got some guys that really look the part, and they had before, but there just seems so much more of them. Guys like Mohamed Diallo.
I can't get over
that guy makes you look little.
Well, a lot of guys out there make me look little.
And then a guy like Kingsley Kiki is so big but more streamlined and things like that. So, that's one thing that gets my attention first of all. And then when we watched them play, and I know they were keeping it very vanilla, but what really stands out to me more than the individuals, and I did like, I think it's Corbin Richardson, is that his name, the running back? Cordarian. Man, I was really impressed with him. He shows a lot of acceleration. Of course, Travion is going to play in the NFL someday, hopefully not for 2 years. The tight ends, especially Sternberger, every time I see him, I'm impressed with him. But what really stands out to me more than anything, and I know this has just been hashed over and over, it's just the different atmosphere and different mentality at practice from the coach, who's so hands-on and so involved in every aspect. And if he doesn't like something, everybody knows he doesn't like it, and he lets you know with some really interesting language.
Well, on Sunday, the media was sitting on the other side, the student side, and I guess we were 15, 20 rows up maybe, and we're listening and we're watching, and it just so happened that day Jared Hocker had a rough stretch of plays, probably 5 or 6 in a row, where Jimbo didn't like the way he was attacking his down defender, and then he didn't like the way he was attacking his linebacker, then he didn't like the way he sat in pass protection, and we heard it. Every time we heard it, 15, 20 rows up in the stands. Listen, and it's not yelling. It's yelling with a purpose. I just got done watching Last Chance U, this season of Last Chance U. That guy's yelling with no purpose. He's just yelling and cussing kids for no reason. I didn't hear Jimbo cuss him. I heard Jimbo coach him with intent and with purpose. And here's another thing that you can do. And I figured this out whenever my baseball kids turned about 14, and girls start becoming important to them, and it's all about kind of how they look. Well, listen, not a lot changes from the time you're 14 to the time you're about 21 in terms of that, right? You can embarrass these kids by coaching them hard and coaching them in front of all of their peers, and they will respond to it. And I've seen Jimbo do it. I've seen other members of his staff do it. You've seen Tim Brewster do it with the tight ends. It's about getting that response out of these kids, and they're doing a great job of coaching with a purpose and with intent. There's a standard that's been set. I thought Mike Elko said it best about his defense, and I went over this on Tuesday. He said there's one standard. There's not a standard OB that if you're hurt, you do it this way, or if you're playing really well, you do it this way. There's one standard, and it's got to be on defense. It's got to be 22 guys in the 2 deep that buy into that standard, or however many guys are on that roster. I think that is the culture change. If you look at it in such a big picture, a culture change, that's a lot, right? So it's every day when a guy doesn't do something correctly, you don't wait till film to correct it. You get on his butt right then and you correct it right now. And then it's up to the kid changing the culture. It's up to the kid to make the decision to say, okay, I've got to change this now. And it's not okay to wait for it, and it's not okay to pout. It's about doing it now. And I think once that starts permeating into the leadership of the football team, into the Tyrell Dotsons, into the Travion Williams, into the Keaton Sutherlands and the Eric McCoys, where it's not Jimbo or Jim Turner or Terry Price saying these things, when it's the kids on the team saying it, that's when you start chipping away at this culture.
Yeah, you probably saw it. Jimbo was telling them, look, I want you to practice at a championship level every day. There's not a day off. Our light practice doesn't mean you practice lightly. And if you want to have a championship caliber team, the first step is practice at a championship caliber level. And I think Coach Fisher will not accept anything less than that. And that means going full speed. That means paying attention, knowing what you're supposed to do. He always talks about being tough, being physical. Make that as natural as taking a breath, and that's what he's demanding. And I think that this is what a program needed, was a coach that was more demanding.
Well, he said this too, Olin. I thought I've never heard it put like this, and I thought it was so poignant. And then I start using it with everything that I do in my life. And so people here at the tap, or you're listening, driving around, or however you're listening, ask yourself this question, or say, do you live by this? How you do anything is how you do everything. I thought that was one of the most, poignant, full of wisdom quotes that I'd heard from a coach in a long time, and that goes back to setting that culture. How you tie your shoes, how you leave your locker, between practice. What does the locker room look like between practice? How you do anything is how you do everything.
I guess. I mean, I'm sure there are certain things I do better than others.
You know what?
That's what my wife tells me.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Well,
yeah.
she says I'm a lot better at going to work and providing than I am at, like, cleaning and helping out around the house. What do you think I meant?
I didn't know where you were going. I wasn't going to touch it, though.
But you do certain things better than others.
I think it's about the intent.
But once you get on the field and you're thinking about football and your job, I think there's a whole level of intensity that some of the players didn't even know existed from a coach. Mm-hmm. And with every day they're getting more accustomed to it, and they're understanding that there's a certain level of intensity and expectation that they have to meet every practice.
Still some big questions for you?
Oh, yeah, sure there's going to be big questions. I mean, we keep hearing that there's progress in the offensive line, but until we actually see it, there's a certain amount of, I don't want to say skepticism, but question. And quite frankly, I don't think we'll have the answers to those questions until September 9th.
I think there's 4 there. I think there's 4 guys up there that are pretty much cemented themselves in the starting lineup. That 5th guy can determine a lot, because if the 5th guy is Colton Prater at center, then Eric McCoy moves to guard. If the 5th guy is Jared Hocker or somebody, Connor Landfear at guard, then McCoy stays at center. That seems like the most appetizing offensive line setup for the fans.